Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about all of the books on my July TBR. So let's get right into the video. So the first book on my TBR is The Count of Monte Cristo, and this is actually a carryover from June. I wasn't quite able to finish it. I got nearly halfway, but as you can tell, it is a chunker, and so I would love to finish this up in the month of July. I'm so far really enjoying this. I did get tickled though, because for the first, 400 and some pages, in my brain, I was picturing the movie, The Legend of Zorro. And somehow I got that confused with The Count of Monte Cristo. I don't think I've ever seen this movie. So I was so confused, but once I cleared that up in my brain, it's been much better. But I am enjoying this one. The next two books are the two classics that I want to read in the month of July. The first one is A Room with a View by E.M. Forster, and this is about a girl who is on vacation and she witnesses a murder and she faints into this guy's arms and she falls in love with this guy, but he is not of the same social class as her. He's beneath her, and there is another guy who at home who is in the same social class, but she's not in love with him. So I don't know. It sounds interesting. I'm excited to get to it. The next book, the next classic I want to read is Virginia Woolf's A Room of One's Own. And this is an essay about, well, it's taken from a speech that she gave at a college, maybe two speeches, I think. But she imagines that Shakespeare has a sister who is of equal talent and all of this stuff, but she never writes a word. And so I just think it's just exploring women and what they need to create. One of my goals for 2024 was to read 12 nonfiction books that were already on my shelf. I don't read a lot of nonfiction. When I do, I normally enjoy it, but I just don't prioritize it. So this month I chose James Herriot's All Creatures, Great and Small. And this is just about his time as a vet in the English countryside. And I'm really excited to get into this. I love nature stories and I love stuff like this. So I really think that this one is going to be a hit for me, but we'll see. The next book fits the prompt for the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. And the prompt was short stories. And so I had this on my shelf, Jack London's 5 Great Short Stories. And I don't know much about it at all. I just know that it's 5 short stories written by Jack London. So I'm going to be reading this for Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. The next set of books I'm going to talk about are all buddy reads that I have planned to read this month. So the first one is for our in-person book club, and we chose to read Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This will actually be a reread for me. But we wanted to read a sci-fi, and this was the one that was chosen. So this features Spensa. It's a YA sci-fi. So she is a teenage girl who has always wanted to be a fighter pilot, and she can't do that because people label her because her father was a coward. He defected from the fighter pilot program or whatever. And so they think he's a traitor and a coward. And so that label has been passed on to her and she's ostracized for it. But she finds a way, to get in the skies and fight some aliens. But anyway, I'm looking forward to talking about this one with my friends this month. The next book is another Sanderson, and Tiffany from Beautiful Minutia is doing a read along of all of the Mistborn series. And so this month we are on the third book, the final book of the first era, The Hero of Ages. And I have loved being back in this world. I'd forgotten a whole lot about it, and so it's been a lot of fun revisiting this. And I'm excited to get to book 3 because I'm remembering a few things, as I'm going along, and it's interesting to see all the things that Sanderson has woven in through the first 2 books and how they end in book 3. So I'm excited to get to this one as well. The final book that I'm planning to read with someone is the 4th book in the Lady Trent series. I believe it's called In the Labyrinth of Drakes or something like that. And I'm reading this with Tiffany, and I'm so excited to get back into the world of Lady Trent. She's always fun to follow along with on her adventures, cataloging all of these dragons that she is discovering. I haven't read the synopsis for book 4, so I don't really know exactly what is happening, but I love a good labyrinth story, so I feel like I will really enjoy this one. Okay, so those are all of the books that I am committed to read this month, and so now I'm going to talk about a few hopefuls. We'll see if I get to these. If I do, great. If I don't, that's okay. The first one is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb. I have been itching to finish this trilogy as soon as I read it. I actually finished the first one, Assassin's Apprentice, and the very next day I went to the bookstore and purchased this one. And I haven't done that in a long time with a book. I didn't even want to wait for Amazon for it to get to me. And now it's just been sitting on my shelf for 2 months and I haven't had a chance to read it. So I would really, really, really like to finish this trilogy. The next book I want to try to pick up is Dandelion Wine by Ray Bradbury. And last fall, for our in-person book club, we read Something Wicked This Way Comes. And I liked it. I had an appreciation for it, but I did not love it. The writing was just a little too flowery for me, a little over the top, and it just kind of drew me out of the story somewhat. But I don't know. I just feel like this one would be great to read in the summer. So I'm going to give it another try because I did enjoy it. It just wasn't one of my favorites. So I think this is set in the same town in Illinois as Something Wicked This Way Comes. And it's just about a boy and how he's enjoying his summer, I feel like. So we'll see if I get to this one. Another book that I have been itching to pick up since I read the first one is Emily Wild's Map of the Otherlands. I read the first one of this series several months ago and I loved it. I thought that it was just so sweet and cozy and just a fun, light fantasy. And ever since I finished it, I've been wanting to read the second one and I just, again, haven't had a chance. Okay, so in this one, she is mapping the fairy world. So we'll see what adventure she gets up to in this one if I get a chance to read it. The next one I'd love to get to this month is Before the Coffee Gets Cold. This was lent to me by a friend and I believe they're just in a coffee shop and they get to sit down and have a cup of coffee and a conversation with somebody from their past. I think alive or dead. I'm not 100%, but they have to finish this conversation before the coffee gets cold. And I've heard really great things about this book. I feel like it's a booktube darling and I would love to get to this one as well. The last book that I would love to get to in the month of July is The Summer Book. And this is the same author who wrote the Moomin books. And this is about a young, I think a 6-year-old girl and her grandmother who are spending the summer together on a little island off the coast of Finland. And it's just all about their time together. So I don't know. I just need some summery, fun reads. I feel like I have not read much this summer so far that feels indicative of the season. And I'm missing that in my life right now. Like, I want books that evoke the essence of summer, the laid back days, the hot, sultry days by the pool and the shenanigans kids get into. I don't know. I need some good summer books. So I'm hoping this and Dandelion Wine especially will deliver that for me, but we'll see. Okay, there's one other thing that I'd like to talk to y'all about, and that's the manga or graphic novel that I'm trying to figure out that I'm going to read at the end of the month. I've really, really been enjoying this little habit I've kind of picked up at the end of the month to read a graphic novel or a manga or something in between the start, like the end of the month and the start of the month, like the last few days of the month. And I've just been enjoying that a lot. I'm pretty sure I've done it every month this year, except I think February, and I've just really enjoyed it. So I've reserved a series, well, the first 3 volumes of Kuma 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 Bear for my library. So if those come in, I'll probably pick that up and read the first 3 volumes of that. And if it doesn't, then I'm going to read the first 2 volumes of A Silent Voice. I own those. I haven't read them in a very long time, so I'd like to read the whole series because it's a completed series. I think there are only 6 or 7, maybe 8 volumes in like total, so it's not a large series, but I'd like to finish that one. So I'll either read Kuma 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 Bear or A Silent Voice at the end of the month. We'll see. Yeah, so anyway, you never know. Okay, so that's it. Those are the books that I'd love to read in July. I'd love to hear in the comments, have you read any of these? Do you think I'll enjoy them? What are your reading plans for the month of July? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.